Welcome, high-value men. She's pulling away, ignoring your texts, acting cold, and you feel like something's off. You've seen the signs. Her replies are shorter, her energy has shifted, and deep down, you know she's not the same. You might be thinking, did I do something wrong? Is she losing interest? Is there someone else? Most men panic at this moment. They start over-texting, over-explaining, trying to fix what feels like a sinking ship. But here's what they don't realize. This moment right here is actually their biggest opportunity. Because when a woman starts pulling away, it's not always a sign that she's done. More often, it's a test that most men fail instantly. Before we go any further, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like she was slipping away and you didn't know what to do? Drop a yes or no in the comments below. Now, what if I told you that instead of chasing her, instead of texting her again, instead of trying to convince her that you're worth it, there's a completely different way to handle this? A way that not only stops you from losing her, but actually makes her start seeing you in a way she never did before. This isn't about playing games or manipulation. This is about understanding the natural dynamics of attraction. And if you get this right, you won't just save this situation. You'll never have to stress about a woman pulling away again. Let's get into it. Why she's pulling away and why most men handle it wrong. Most men think that when a woman pulls away, it means she's lost interest. They assume she's found someone else or just doesn't care anymore. And their natural instinct? To try harder. They text more, call more, ask her what's wrong, try to remind her how much they care. They think that if they just show enough effort, she'll come back. But this is where everything goes wrong, because attraction doesn't work that way. Women don't just wake up one day and lose feelings. It happens in stages, and most of the time, it's not about what you did wrong, it's about what you stopped doing right. Let me break it down. When she first met you, there was mystery, excitement, and unpredictability. You had your own life, your own purpose, and your own energy. She felt like she had to earn your attention, and that's what made you attractive. But over time, something changed. She started feeling like she had you figured out. There were no more surprises, no more excitement. She no longer had to put in effort to keep your attention because it was already guaranteed. And here's the key. The moment something becomes predictable, it loses value. That's why women naturally start to pull back. Not because they want to leave, but because they want to feel something again. They want to feel the excitement of earning your presence, your attention, and your energy. And this is where most men fail. Instead of recognizing what's happening, they do the worst thing possible. They chase. They try to compensate for the distance by doing more, when in reality, they should be doing less. Because the more you push forward when she's pulling back, the faster attraction dies. So if she's acting distant, if she's not responding the way she used to, don't panic. Because right now, you have two choices. You can react emotionally, chase after her, and prove to her that she already has all the power. Or you can hold your ground, shift the dynamic, and make her start feeling something she hasn't felt in a long time. The choice is yours. The silent test and why most men fail. Here's something most men don't even realize. When a woman pulls away, it's often not a decision, it's a test. Not one that she consciously plans, but a subconscious reaction built into attraction. She wants to see how you handle uncertainty, how you deal with emotional shifts. Will you panic? Will you chase? Or will you hold your ground? And here's the dangerous part. Most men fail this test immediately. She ignores a text, and they send another one. She takes longer to reply, and they ask if something is wrong. She cancels plans, and they rush to reschedule. Every single reaction like this sends one clear message. She is in control. The moment she realizes this, something shifts in her mind. The attraction she once felt starts to fade. Not because of something you said, but because you've become too easy, too available, too predictable. But here's where things get interesting. The men who pass this test, they don't react emotionally, they don't chase, they don't beg for answers, they simply hold their position, they match her energy. And that's when something unexpected happens. She starts feeling something she didn't expect. Doubt. She wonders if she misjudged you, if she acted too soon, if she's the one losing you. And that single moment of uncertainty is what shifts everything. Because now, for the first time in a long time, you're no longer predictable. You've created space, a void that she wasn't expecting. And in that void, attraction begins to rebuild. Most men will never experience this because they don't have the patience to sit through the silence. They break, they reach out, they try to fix things. But the truth is, the silence isn't a problem, it's the answer. And if you can understand that, you're already ahead of 99% of men. The power of controlled distance. Most men don't realize that attraction isn't built through words. It's built through distance, tension, and emotion. The biggest mistake a man can make when a woman pulls away is trying to close that distance too soon. They believe that if they just explain themselves, if they just show how much they care, everything will go back to normal. But attraction doesn't work like that. Women don't fall in love with presence. They fall in love with absence. When something is always available, it loses value. When something disappears, it becomes desirable. Think about it. If you have unlimited access to something, you stop noticing it. But the moment it's gone, you start craving it. That's why controlled distance is so powerful. Instead of texting her first, wait. Instead of liking her posts, ignore them. Instead of adjusting your schedule for her, prioritize yourself. These small changes create a shift. Suddenly, she notices your absence. Suddenly, she's wondering why you're not reacting the way she expected. And that's when her mind starts working against her. She starts questioning herself. Did I misjudge him? Did he lose interest? Is he seeing someone else? This is where most men crack. They see her pulling back and they assume they need to do something to fix it. But the truth is, the most powerful move you can make is to do nothing at all. Because when you stop giving away your attention for free, she starts valuing what she once took for granted. And the moment she starts missing you, everything shifts in your favor. What to do instead of chasing? Most men believe that when a woman pulls away, they need to fix the situation. They think, maybe if I explain myself, if I show her how much I care, she'll come back. But the truth is, attraction isn't built on explanations, it's built on emotions. And when a woman is pulling away, the worst thing you can do is push forward. So what should you do instead? Match her energy. If she's distant, don't overcompensate, pull back. If she stops texting as much, don't flood her inbox. Stay neutral. If she suddenly cancels plans, don't rush to reschedule. Let her wonder. The key here is balance. You're not punishing her. You're not playing games. You're simply reflecting the energy she's giving you. And this is where most men get it wrong. They assume that if they don't chase, they'll lose her. But in reality, the opposite is true. Think about it. When something stops chasing you, what do you naturally do? You start chasing it. When something that was always available suddenly becomes scarce, its value rises. That's exactly what happens when you stop over-investing in someone who's pulling away. She starts feeling the shift. She starts wondering why you're not reacting the way she expected. And that curiosity, that subtle feeling of uncertainty, is what makes her start craving your presence again. But here's the challenge. Most men don't have the patience to sit through the silence. The moment they feel the distance, they panic and break the frame. They send that extra text, they reach out first, they try to check in. And just like that, they reset the dynamic, putting themselves right back into the position of chasing. If you truly want to flip the script, you have to understand this. Attraction grows in space, not in pressure. The more you can hold your ground, the more you allow her to feel your absence, the more she starts realizing what she had in you. And when that moment happens, everything changes. How to handle it when she comes back. Here's where most men make their biggest mistake. She disappears for a few days, maybe even a week, and then out of nowhere she texts, "Hey." That's it. One simple message. And what do most guys do? They jump at the opportunity. They reply instantly, overly excited, acting like her message is the best thing that's happened to them all week. And just like that, they kill the dynamic they just spent time rebuilding. See, when she reaches out after pulling away, it's not always because she misses you. Sometimes it's just to check if she still has you. She's testing the waters, seeing if you're still there, still available, still waiting. And if you respond too quickly, too eagerly, she gets her answer. She never actually lost you. And once she knows that, she can pull away again with zero fear of losing you for real. So how do you handle it? Stay calm, stay composed, let her work for it. Don't ignore her. That's not the point. But don't act like she just did you a favor by texting you. Keep your response short, neutral, and in control. If she disappeared for a while, let her feel the distance before giving her full access to your time and energy again. Let her prove that she's serious about reconnecting, because here's the truth. If she genuinely wants to come back, she'll make the effort. She'll invest. She'll show, through her actions, that she values your presence. But if she's just testing the waters and she senses that she still has control, she'll pull away again. And that cycle will continue until you break it. Most men never break it. They keep rewarding women for pulling away, unknowingly reinforcing the behavior. But the men who understand this, they flip the script. They make sure that if a woman comes back, it's because she wants to be there, not because she feels like she can leave and return whenever she wants. And that's the difference between being a man she respects and being a man she takes for granted. If she never comes back, you win anyway. Most men spend too much time waiting for a text, waiting for a sign, waiting for her to change her mind. But here's the truth. You don't want a woman who only stays when you chase her. You want a woman who values you enough to choose you without needing to be convinced. If she pulls away and never returns, she just did you a favor. She saved you from wasting more time on the wrong person. The problem is, most men don't see it that way. They take it as a loss. They start questioning themselves, wondering if they should have done something differently. But the reality is, the right woman doesn't need to be convinced. She doesn't need to be chased. She doesn't need to be constantly reminded of your worth. Think about this. If you have to chase something to keep it, what happens when you stop chasing? It disappears. And that's exactly why men who learn to let go, instead of clinging to something that's slipping away, always come out on top. They don't waste energy trying to force something that isn't meant to be. Instead, they redirect that energy back to themselves. They level up, focus on their purpose, and become better, stronger, and more valuable. And when that happens, they realize something important. They were never the ones losing anything. Because here's the secret. When you stop chasing, you become the prize. You stop putting women on a pedestal. You stop making their attention the center of your world. And when that happens, not only do you attract higher quality women, but the ones who left, they start noticing. They start wondering. And sometimes they even come back. But by then, you won't even care. Because once you understand your own value, you don't waste time on people who don't see it. And that's when you truly win. The power of your silence. Most men think they need to explain, argue, or fight for a woman's attention when she starts pulling away. But the truth is, silence speaks louder than any words ever could. When you stop chasing, stop checking in, and stop reacting to her distance, you create something powerful: uncertainty. At first, she assumes you'll be back. She expects you to send that "Hey, how have you been?" text. She assumes you'll still be there, waiting, like most men would. But then, days pass. A week. Maybe even longer. And something shifts. She starts checking her phone more often, wondering why you haven't reached out. She scrolls through old conversations, trying to figure out if she missed a sign. She expected you to break first. But now, she's the one feeling the void. And this is where most men fail. They break the silence too soon. The moment they start feeling the distance, they reach out, unknowingly giving away all the power they just built. But the men who understand this, they hold the frame. They let her feel their absence fully. And when that happens, something unexpected occurs. She starts to miss you. See, when a woman suddenly realizes that a man who once valued her is no longer reaching out, it triggers something deep inside her. She starts questioning herself. Did I push him too far? Did I misjudge him? Is he really gone for good? And the moment she starts asking those questions, the dynamic shifts. Because now, you're no longer just another guy trying to get her attention. You've become a mystery. And mystery is what creates attraction. Most men never get to this stage because they don't have the patience to sit through the silence. But the ones who do? They're the ones women can't forget. Why women underestimate you until you go silent. Most women assume that men will always be available. They believe that no matter what they do, whether they pull away, take you for granted, or test your patience, you'll still be there, waiting. And why wouldn't they? That's how most men operate. They chase, they overinvest, they can't handle distance. But when you don't act like most men, when you choose silence over chasing, you disrupt her expectations. She starts thinking, wait, why isn't he reacting? Why hasn't he tried to talk to me? Is he actually moving on? And that single thought creates a ripple effect in her mind. See, the moment a woman realizes that a man who once valued her is now unbothered by her distance, it forces her to reevaluate everything. She starts questioning her own decisions. She starts wondering if she misjudged your worth. And those thoughts, they stir emotions she wasn't prepared for. But here's where most men go wrong. The second she shows any sign of interest again, maybe she sends a random hey or likes an old post, they take the bait immediately. They rush back in, thinking they've won. But in reality, all they've done is confirm that she still has control. And once she knows that, the cycle resets. She pulls away again, knowing you'll always be there. The men who truly win, they hold their position. They don't fall for surface-level tests. They let her feel the full weight of their absence. And that's when something unexpected happens. She starts craving what she once took for granted. Most men will never experience this shift because they give up too soon. But the ones who understand this, they're the ones women can't ignore. The moment she starts feeling your absence. At first, she feels fine. She might even feel relieved, thinking she made the right decision. She assumes you'll reach out soon, that you'll check in, that you'll still be there waiting like most men. But then, silence. No texts, no calls, no reactions to her posts, nothing. Days turn into a week, then 2. And suddenly, something shifts. She starts checking her phone more often, scrolling through old conversations, wondering why she hasn't heard from you. At first, it's just curiosity. But then, curiosity turns into doubt, and doubt turns into something even stronger, regret. She starts thinking, did I push him too far? Did he actually move on? And the more time passes, the more those thoughts start to weigh on her. See, women aren't used to this. They're used to men who chase, who over-explain, who try to fix things. But you did something different. You gave her space, real space. And now, for the first time, she's the one feeling uncertain. Most men never get to see this moment because they give up too soon. They break the silence before she even has a chance to feel it. But when you stay patient, when you hold your ground, you force her to experience something rare, missing you. And once she starts missing you, everything changes. Because now she's the one wondering if she made a mistake. She's the one feeling the absence. She's the one thinking about you more than ever. And that's when the real shift begins. The unspoken rule of attraction. Here's a truth that most men never realize. A woman values you based on how difficult you are to replace. When you're always there, always available, she never has to think about losing you. But the moment you pull back, the moment she starts to feel your absence, something changes. Suddenly, she's forced to question everything. Attraction isn't just about chemistry or compatibility, it's about perception. And when something is too easy to get, it's never fully appreciated. This is why men who chase, who overinvest, who make themselves too predictable end up being taken for granted. It's not because they aren't good enough. It's because they never gave her the chance to feel their absence. Think about it. What makes luxury brands so desirable? Scarcity. Not everyone can have them. And that's exactly how human nature works with attraction. When you stop being easily accessible, when you stop giving yourself away for free, your value skyrockets. Not because you've changed, but because she now sees you differently. And this is where most men fail. The second they feel her pulling back, they panic and start proving their worth. They try to explain, to convince, to fix things. But attraction doesn't work through explanations. It works through emotions. The more she feels like she has to work for your attention, the more she values it. So if you truly want to shift the dynamic, understand this. The less you give freely, the more she values what she gets. And the moment she starts questioning whether she misjudged you, that's when attraction starts rebuilding. The ultimate mindset shift, becoming the prize. Most men spend their lives trying to win women over. They believe they have to prove themselves, to chase, to constantly show their worth. But the men who truly win, they don't chase. they become the prize. They understand that their value isn't determined by how much they can convince a woman to stay, but by how much they value themselves. The moment you shift your mindset from "how do I keep her" to "she even worthy of me," everything changes. You stop tolerating inconsistent behavior. You stop giving attention to women who don't appreciate it. You stop prioritizing someone who isn't prioritizing you. And that shift, it makes you stand out. Because while most men are still begging for validation, you've become the man who doesn't need it. And here's the ironic part. When you stop seeking validation, that's when you get it. When you walk away from what doesn't serve you, that's when the right people start gravitating towards you. Not just women, but opportunities, success, and a life that's actually fulfilling. So if there's one thing to take away from this, it's this. You never win by chasing. You win by becoming someone who never has to chase. A man with standards, a man with self-respect, a man who isn't afraid to walk away. Because when you become that man, the game stops being about trying to keep someone and starts being about choosing who's worthy of staying. And that's when you truly win.